Good afternoon, everybody. Gabe Gonzalez here again. I am was it was really nice to dive into some of the videos and stuff that we were seeing, and actually learning a little bit more about the subject that I was doing. So I found some really good videos, some old interviews from back in 2000. I saw some interviews with with some people that were in the business that were participating in coming up with different programs that were kind of leading to streaming and mp3s and things like that, and kind of getting the digital music world going. And it was cool to hear their part from that, and also to hear the artist perspective and what it was doing to them and how they thought they could do it. So some of the videos that I was looking at were I found on YouTube. One that I thought was really interesting was a Lars Ulrich and with Chuck D and Charlie Rose on Napster back in 2000. There's also a video on the Napster co-founder Sean Parker. Another one that I saw, just a conversation with Sean Parker, who was the co-founder of Napster, and then also a Napster documentary from the New York Times. I also saw Lars Ulrich of Metallica talking about some different stuff. So it was interesting to be able to dive into those videos and see what it is that they were doing. I thought it was cool. It's pretty interesting to get their perspectives, especially the one that I really enjoyed was this one right here, the Charlie Rose interview with Lars Ulrich, and I'll kind of play it a little bit.
Just because you take it away from the record business and the record companies and you hand it over to all these other people that make it available in a different way, that there's not going to be the same profiteering from that. That
Same
is,
thing with I mean, you're not crying about the radio industry making their money. The radio industry actually.
but I'm not crying about the music.
What I liked about this one was that we were able to see the artist perspective from back then. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and not only was it interesting because Lars Ulrich, and for those of you that know who Lars Ulrich is, he is the drummer for Metallica, and they were kind of the band that led to everything going. They led the lawsuits against Napster and kind of shut it down. And Chuck D, who is the lead singer for Public Enemy. For you younger folks, you may not know what it is, but you can definitely Google them or just type in Spotify or whatever in iTunes to find Metallica or Public Enemy. But to see them to kind of go back and forth, where one artist was saying that it's great that the people can get their music out, and then the other one saying that no, they're not. They're stealing music and they own the copyrights to it and stuff like that. So that was kind of something that I thought was really cool, and I think that really opened up my eyes to seeing what it is that they're saying and what they wanted to do. And one of the other people that I saw an interview on was Mr. Sean Parker. And for those of you that don't know who Sean Parker is, he is the co-founder of Napster. He was also portrayed in this movie right here, The Social Network, portrayed by Mr. Justin Timberlake. For those of you that haven't seen it, it's a pretty interesting story. He kind of helped co-found Facebook as well too. He's been on Spotify. He's done a lot of stuff in this industry, and just to getting his perspective on how it is, and some of the things he was saying, it's like it's not really hurt that streaming is not really hurting the artist. It's hurting the music business. So that was kind of something interesting to hear, because they kind of leveled out the playing field with the record labels, because before record labels were the ones that controlled everything and did everything. They were the gatekeepers for things, and nowadays you don't necessarily need them to do that. But it also, it's debatable what it could be. And another interesting one that I saw too was the New York Times. I found this on YouTube. It was a documentary they did about Napster, and also for you younger folks, back in the day, back in the 2000, early 99 2000 time frame, there was a thing called Napster. That's kind of what started the whole MP3. So basically, if you had the file, you could upload it and then you could share it with the rest of the world. And this was a huge concert. I mean, I remember, You know, I was a teenager when this came out, and I had a bunch of burned CDs with songs that I found from Napster. And it, from a customer's perspective, it was interesting to, or from a downloader or whatever it is you want to call it, I thought it was great because I was a poor teenager and I couldn't afford to buy all the CDs that I wanted to buy. But then, knowing now being in the biz, I can see how that hurts and things like that too. So, you know, uh, being able to dig into the sources and actually start using them and finding some old, 2000 interviews with two artists who were on both sides, who are on different sides of the spectrum, kind of arguing over what it is and what it is, what's what and what's right and what's not right is really good to see because that's a first-hand perspective for Lars and Metallica, who were the ones leading. I think at one point they said had lawsuits for 300,000 people, and that's probably 300,000 Metallica fans. So you're suing your fans because they're not paying for your music. But then I see some customers saying that, even just in the comment section on the YouTube video saying, I downloaded this songs and I was able to download it, but I also thought it was so great that I bought all of their albums and I attended their concerts. So it could be either way, But anyways, thank you for your time and I hope you enjoy your day. Thanks. Peace.